So welcome to 5 tips to commit to your daily self-care. Now, I filmed this as a standalone video, but if you did the 21-day self-care challenge with me recently, then this is the concluding video. So for those of you who did the series live with me, congratulations to have reached the end. And also to all of you who are still on it. I've seen some people have started a few days later, others have started halfway through. Remember, it's there for you always, so you can do it at any time if you'd like to give it a go at committing to a daily self-care practice. Now, I did ask people to comment or to write to me with questions, and I did get a few of you actually writing to me directly. Now, there have been a lot of common questions, mostly in relation to time. So I have put together the 5 main tips that could help anybody to persevere and continue committing to a daily self-care practice. So the first question, I had a few people asking about the importance of routine. How important is it to keep up a routine where you're doing you're doing your practice at the same time every day? Now, a routine, especially for somebody like me, is actually really, really helpful because it means that you can keep up a particular pace and you can keep going with it, and it becomes that habit. It's a good way to keep that habit going. Now, of course, when there are situations like holidays or something unexpected comes up, a challenge that breaks the routine, that is the biggest challenge. Is where do you find that time then to bring in your self-care practice? So you could set yourself actually an alarm. I find that setting an alarm is the most helpful way to bring me back to that really key moment in my day, which is that 2 minutes or 3 minutes of self-care. So even if you do have something unexpected come up, no matter how hard it may be, just having that presence of mind to set an alarm to bring you back just to 2 minutes for yourself is so, so important. So whilst a routine, yes, can be very helpful, if you find that there's a break in that routine and you can't really keep it up, then try to remember to set an alarm every day. And that alarm is your sacred moment, that sacred pause for you to take for yourself. So that was question number 1. The second question I had, which is kind of related to it, when is the most beneficial time of day to do a self-care practice? It really is very, very individual. I can't say that there is a best time because everybody is different. If you think of people who may be doing shift work and who may be working through the night, it varies. Everybody is very unique in how they feel and what is the most beneficial to their own daily responsibilities, whether they're looking after other people or children, depending on the type of work they do. So I wouldn't say that there's actually a perfect time. I will leave you though with one thing that I remember my teacher teaching us in my yoga teacher training many years ago, and that was when it came to her meditation practice. She would literally get up out of bed, maybe go pee, and immediately do her meditation practice. Now, if you are that type of person where you don't want to feel like you're getting it out of the way, but if you are the type of person who likes to get things done in the morning, then you might find that that way of approaching it before you do anything else, wake up, go to the bathroom, sit down, meditate, or move, or breathe, do a mindfulness practice, whatever you feel is the best. So that is the answer when it comes to when is the best time of day. What is the best type of practice? So I was very interested to get some feedback about the different types of practice. And one of my students spoke particularly to the fact that she sits a lot, so it helps her to get up and move, but that she also recognizes that the meditative aspect and the mindfulness aspect of the practice, the pranayama as well, the breathing practice, serves her incredibly, and she feels wonderful after having done it. I would always advise a mixture because you never know on a given day how you might feel. So I presented you with all sorts of different types of practices during the series. So I always have the same answer when it comes to tuning into how you feel, which may not necessarily be an easy thing to do, But you could use logic, for example. If you have been sitting for a long time during the day, get up and move. If you're feeling particularly anxious, maybe sit down and do a breathing practice or a mindfulness practice, something that can bring you back into your body. But of course, movement can also do the same thing. So again, it's not an easy one to answer. A mixture of everything is absolutely ideal. So in a given week, you could do something different every day. But if you find that um, if you are really enjoying a particular type of practice, then you can carry on and do that for a few days and just see how it sits with you. So that was question number 3. Question number 4, the dynamics at home or at work. Should you have a quiet space? Of course, the ideal in all our scenarios, especially if we're trying to find a bit of time for ourselves, is that we're able to limit that stimulation that we are receiving and bombarded with all throughout the day. And that stimulation may not be coming from other people who live in our space. It may be coming from telephones, from other devices, from work, from just rushing around, from our own mind sometimes. As much as we would like that quiet space, don't beat yourself up if you can't find it. It is difficult at times to find that quiet space unless you have access to nature and you can go outside, you can take a walk, you have a garden. If you are sitting at home and this is where you need to be to do your self-care practice, then embrace that and let it be what it is. Set a few boundaries if you can with your family or whoever you share your space with, and put a sign up on the door. It's my quiet time. 2 minutes is all you need. And this is the last resort, but I will sometimes advise my students to go into the bathroom and shut the door. And hopefully nobody is actually going to follow you into your bathroom. I have heard all sorts of stories about why that doesn't always work, but give it a go. Embrace the space that you're in and try to make it yours. And that actually moves into the last part of this video. So what is my top tip, my personal top tip for keeping up a self-care routine? And it is actually having a space that's yours. Now, of course, I'm sitting up here in my space, which is actually half of my bedroom. So even though this might look like a bit of a studio space, on the other side of the camera there is my bed. So yes, I do have a good, adequate space to do my own self-care practice, but it's not ideal. I touch the ceiling and I find that quite frustrating at times. You might be in a space where you can't even stretch out, where you're touching walls or you're touching furniture. Have a space that you can claim as yours. It could be the corner of a room where all you need is a meditation cushion and you can set up a candle or some incense, a picture, a little ornament, something that is sacred to you and that signifies when you look at it that that is your sacred space. Ideally, somewhere you can shut the door, but sometimes that doesn't happen. Just make it yours. That would be the most important aspect of making your own little sacred space. Have a yoga mat rolled up, ready to go, or even laid out on the floor if you can. Yes, you may end up with a dog sitting on it or a cat, or you may end up with your child wanting to play with your yoga bolster, but take it in your stride. Just setting up a yoga space is a start. It gives you that commitment. As soon as you look at it, you know that that is your place and your space where you can be. So I hope that these tips help you in committing to your self-care practice. Remember that I showed you 2, 3, 4. I think the maximum we did together was about 5 minutes. And that is enough. When you are running ragged and you've got so much to do, and you're finding that you're incredibly anxious and you can't come down from that and reconnect with your body, just taking 2 or 3 minutes can be enough. And you will find that the more you do it, that habit does ingrain within you and it becomes part of you. You may find that you can't get through your day without finding those 2 minutes for yourself. That's how the practice grows. That's where it begins. And maybe that it stretches out, and all of a sudden you were actually sitting there doing 10 minutes of a mindfulness practice, or you actually did about 5 or 6 sun salutations when usually you only do 2. Just observe and allow the practice to take hold on its own. That rhythm will come, but that first step is the step that you have to take for yourself. So let me know what you think of these 5 tips. If you have any other questions, I'm always open to comment, so please comment in the space below this video. And good luck on your self-care journey. For those of you beginning it, I've put the link at the top of the video here and also in the description box below. Thank you for joining me. I'll see you next time.